Okay, so I'm going to make a video on how to mount these TS G1644R Pioneer speakers in the old 2000 Blazer. Okay, we're going to start with this Phillips screw right here in behind the door handle. I'm using the number 2 Phillips. You might as well go ahead and take that off. May have to finagle a little bit, but it'll come off. Okay, I know this is a weird angle for this shot, but I'm going to lift up this plastic piece inside the door handle. This is where you grab to close the door. And we're going to use a 7mm socket or nut driver on these 2 bolts here. Okay, there are 2 Phillips screws on this inner molding piece that rides up the side of the window rail. And I'm going to remove that. I don't know that it's necessary, but just for the sake of being able to lift the door panel up, I'm going to take it off. And the other one's up here. Okay, don't lose the screw like I just did. Okay, we're going to remove this outer molding piece here just because I think this is going to prevent the lower door panel from coming up. Maybe not, but I'm going to go ahead and remove it anyways. And this is where we start getting into the plastic tabs, which when I was younger, I always used to break. But I'm committed to not breaking this one, so, okay. And looks like we did okay, we didn't break any. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start at the top outer edge, and we're going to get the putty knife under there, and you'll be able to feel where the pins are, right? And if you take a light and shine it down in there, you'll be able to see them as well. So, alright, there's one right there. So right there, I'm going to take and use my putty knife and pry it out a little bit and get a screwdriver in there. And I'm just going to do a quick. Okay, and I'm going to do that all the way around the door. So basically I take my putty knife like this, and I can tell where there's a pin. I take my screwdriver on the other side of that, and I use the putty knife and the screwdriver together to pry up. Okay, that's where that fork apparatus comes in handy, because you've got something on each side of that, basically that plastic insert. Okay, so I've removed all of the plastic door pins, and it's all loose here. But keep in mind that we have not removed the electrical connection for the power window. Just going to go ahead and pull it out, and I'm just going to kind of lift up. Okay. See if I can adjust the camera so you can see the electrical connection. Okay, so I'm going to try to get a shot of this mechanism here, this electrical connection. These little tabs on the side here kind of lock in. Okay. And a screwdriver makes it easier, but I'm trying to work the camera and the light. Okay. Once those are loose, this connection should pop right off. Okay, look at this bad boy. You know you're getting old when you drive around for 2 years and you're listening to this and it doesn't even sound like it's supposed to. So this is a T10 Torx. There are 4 of these, and I'm just going to reuse these screws, even though my speakers came with screws. I looked it up on Crutchfield and said I'm going to have to drill new holes. So we'll see how the new speaker fits in this this mounting plate here. And I'm also going to try to use the original electrical connection rather than trying to rig it up. Okay, this is one of those tabs where you basically push in the plastic piece and wiggle it out. Okay, not much room here. Okay, so I'm going to try to salvage as much of this wire as I can. That's hi-fi right there. Alright, let's move over to the solder station. Alright, fairly obvious here. We've got the wire with the black stripe to the black wire here, or the wire with the black stripe. Okay, I've got my shrink tubing on. Don't forget to do that before you solder these up. I've done it probably 40 or 50 times. If you've done it, give me a thumbs up. Everybody does it, but don't forget to put it on there. Alright, let's see if the soldering iron, this old Weller is probably from the 80s. You can tell the tip is pretty much shot, but it does work. Let's see if we can get these soldered on here. Alright, the idea here is to, if possible, if you have a soldering iron that'll do it, heat up the wire, melt the solder on the wire. What happens if you heat the solder up and just drip it on, usually it just falls off. Okay. Okay, you might need to break away a couple of small tabs over here where the wire originally came through. Okay, and then you're gonna feed your wires through one at a time, and you can take the screwdriver, if it's tight, you can take the screwdriver and kind of hold it out, feed them through that way. And the positive one, or wire, is larger, so you can hook it up correctly on the speaker, which is why it was important that we went black to black. Alright, because this is so long, I'm just going to tie a couple of knots, and you can see I put some electrical tape on here because it's overkill, but I've got the shrink tubing back there, but I also did the electrical tape. I'm going to try to get that in there, okay, because that was about the original length of the wire. Okay, so if you're concerned about the extra length, which, you know, there is a window coming down in here, in behind here, what you can do is just tie a couple of knots, or you could have cut the wires a little shorter before we started, right? But it's going to be easier to hook up the speaker. I'm not going to tie them real tight. I'm just kind of a couple of loose knots, and that just takes up the slack, right? Because you don't really want it in by the window there. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do here. I'm not going to hook the speaker up yet because I just really want to get it mounted. I'm going to put it in here, see how it fits, and I'm just going to put one of the original screws in the lower hole here. Okay, and I'm going to take this and pivot it kind of on there and see how it fits. Alright, so what you want to do is try to figure out where do you need to drill holes. So if I put a hole here, and if I put a hole in the very top right here, I think it's going to sit pretty good. So let me get a drill and a small drill bit, and we'll see if we can get this done. Okay, so unfortunately my drill bit is broken, the size that it requires, but I'm going to go ahead and use it anyways. It's going to be a little wobbly probably. And you want to try to center this as much as possible, obviously. So okay, so what we're going to do is kind of wind one of these T10 Torque screws in. One of these ones that was holding the original OEM speaker in. So we can get that threaded in the new hole. Okay, so now I have two mounting points, and now I just need to get this top one in, and I think we'll be in good shape. Okay, so that's how it's going to mount. I've got two bottom corners here and then the top, but before I mount it, obviously I need to plug it in. So let's just take this top one out, and I ought to be able to get the speaker out because I didn't tighten them down. Okay, so the positive is the larger one, and the negative is the smaller one, and they just kind of slide on there. Regular electrical connectors. Okay, I've got these two in. I'm just going to finger tighten the top one, and then we'll tighten them all in with the Torx, the T10 Torx. Okay, so what I want to do now is test it out before I put the door panel on and see if this thing works. Alright, so I have the balance set and the fade set, and I'm going to go ahead and try to see if this works. I'm going to check it out together. Okay, so that appeared to have worked. Let's put the door panel back on and put this thing back together. Okay, so the first thing we need to do here is plug in the power window electrical connection. And if you recall, we may not be able to get this on camera, but we're going to plug this in, then we're going to snap these forward. Okay, so what you want to do is hang this top part of the door panel on this window edge here. Okay, and then you want to kind of look in here, and you can see the pins, and you want to line the pins up with the holes in the door. Okay, you don't want to just jam it in there. You actually want to take your time and make sure that every pin is in before you start pushing and applying pressure, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get this on here. Okay, after you apply pressure to all of the areas of the door that had a pin, we're going to go ahead and put this one back on. Basically what we're doing here is, it's not rocket science, we're putting it back together in the reverse order that we took it apart, right? This one had the pins. Same thing. And the other one has the 2 Phillips screws, if you recall. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Next we're going to put the 7mm hex head screws in here. This again is the where the door handle is. Where you grab a hold to close the door. And when you're working with these types of things right here in the door and all of the dash screws and everything, you don't want to over tighten because you can strip them out real easy. Just kind of snug everything up. Okay, we have a little plastic cover. And we're on to the door handle. That's a Phillips screw. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to the other side. I won't show you that obviously because both of the back speakers are going to be basically the same. But I am going to show you the front, but I'm waiting for the brackets. Apparently the front needs some adapter brackets, and some folks have made them on the internet, but I bought them on eBay for like $11. Okay, this snaps in over here, I believe. So once I get those brackets in, I'll show you how to replace the front, and then I may replace the tweeters up front. In the dash, it's 4x6 speakers. It's a 4x6 speaker opening apparently, but I haven't looked, but apparently that's going to be there's going to be tweeters up front. So I don't know if I'm going to put tweeters in the front or 4x6 speakers. We'll see how it sounds with these four 6.5-inch Pioneers. Hopefully this here has been helpful. Replacing your rear speakers on your Blazer. This is going to be the same or similar to for many vehicles. Leave questions and comments below, and as soon as I get those front speaker brackets in, I'll go ahead and make a video on how to do those. Thanks for watching.